MSTR is in a crucial spot. After making a sharp V-top like movement, we're right back down at that support where we got that nice leg up to that 457 level. The sellers have mirrored that movement, finding that bottom of around 391. So the question is, do we get that bounce here, guys, and we see buyers start to take that control back with this stock, or should we expect continued downside, pushing us to those levels of 369, getting back within this chop range? Now on the weekly, guys, we see an obvious ascending profile in price. After we broke out of that descending bull flag like range, we got a nice movement up after hitting that bottom of 232, go all the way to that $425 level, have a very small pullback given that overall movement, kind of chop around there for a bit. We find another leg up above that 425, reaching highs of around 459. And we see sellers get back into control, pushing us under that previous high of 425 and seeing if the sellers can push us back within this chop range here. All right, guys, on the daily, we see a better perspective on how we broke out of that descending bull flag, right? So we had a huge volatile movement up after finding that bottom of 103, right? We broke through some descending resistance, got a bit tight, had a lot of chop between that 103 and that 182 level. Once we break that and get fully above it, we find that we have a little hold up around that 232, but we do get past that and we see a very volatile move. Buyers getting that full control of the stock, pushing us to that 543, that being around a 120% movement to 130% movement in the matter of around 16 to 15 days. So an insane movement by the buyers, and we find ourselves in a descending bull flag like range after that, which we pop out of, hitting that $425 level, and we get in another shorter term descending range here, guys, as sellers regain that control, but they cannot push us back down given that overextended movement that we see here. See multiple bottoms at that 232, that exact area that we kind of got that big movement up. Right when we got past that, we see some indecision, but once we fully get out of that, we see a very crazy move to that high, and we get into this range, hit that bottom once again several times before we find ourselves breaking out of this descending range, getting to that 425 before we retrace, but we don't retrace much. So comparative, we have around an 80% movement up. And on the way down, guys, the sellers can only push this thing around 14% down. So definitely a very nice movement. Once we get out of that, guys, we blow past that high after we retest it. Really not a lot holding the buyers back here. They hit a high of 457.22. That's where they kind of try to stay above that. We see around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish days of price action, with that fifth day really plummeting us below that level, as well as that 425, that being the previous high level, which we really try to get above, but see multiple times we try to hit off that level and just get crushed down. So at that point, the buyers try to step in, right? This being a very crucial level to stay above. They cannot do so, and we continue our movement down. Like we mentioned in the last MSTR video, guys, the stock is very much diluted. This is what led to this big retracement, with being around all-time highs on Bitcoin and new shares being created on MSTR. We see a lot of dilution leading to that big drop off, and we continue that drop off all the way to that 394, just hovering above that 391.77, right? We see a lot of volatility after breaking out this descending range here, guys. We see a little bit of back and forth, but we do hit off that level, and that's where we see that nice movement up, and we have retraced all the way back down right at that level. So this is very much a spot where we could find a bounce here. This is also a resistance in the past, guys, right? Trying to get above that level. Cannot. We get crushed back down after buyers try to push us back up, leading to this longer term descending range. Once we get right back above and break out of that range, that's where we find a little bit of resistance, pushing us back down before gapping over that. But once we get over that, guys, after some chop, about a couple of weeks of chop, we do get pushed back under that range. We get above it and right back at it. So that $400 psychological level and that 391 level are pretty crucial spots as to if we're going up or if we're going down. So very much a spot where we could be seeing a bounce here, guys, right? We have that big retracement, but I think that we can get a bounce here. Now you'd be looking around this chop range between that 369 and that 391. So daily is pretty self-explanatory. We've had that big breakout of that descending channel, which was created after a very long-term descending bull flag, right? We retrace a lot less compared to that movement up. Then we get another movement up, and we are retracing that movement as we speak. We do see a breakout of that range, but more specifically, we have that movement up and movement down. So we are right at that support level, looking to see if we can get a bounce here, retesting that 400 psychological level and possibly chopping between this range, just like we saw right here before trying to make a movement back up. Now, guys, on the hourly, we see a better perspective of how we've gotten that move up and that exact retracement down. Prices escaped this descending channel here. We see that we connected with this ascending support. Ride that a bit, very reactive, as we notice. Once this stock hits these resistance and support levels, it likes to react to that. The price is very reactive and easy to follow. So try to make a move off that. We get below it. Sellers try to find their move, pushing us below that, but they cannot fully finish that move. With buyers reclaiming that support and getting above that, we use that support and we find new support trending just above that 391. And then we get that nice movement up to that territory of 457. So not a lot stopping them. We see buyers push it up, gap up, kind of chop between that 425 and 438, and we get another gap up and we chop once again, finding that high of 457.22. And then that's some obvious resistance. As we try to chop here very tightly, we try to break that level multiple times, cannot get broken through. That's where you see that the sellers step in after a lot of indecisive price action, lots of back and forth. See a pretty wide red bar followed up with another one, pushing us to that 425. Sellers trying to push us under that. It's where buyers try to step in, that being a support level as that was past resistance. Chop for some hourly candles, but ultimately cannot get that movement back up. And we're in a descending stair step like pattern. Bigger moves down, smaller moves up. And that's kind of what we see all the way to this range of 400 and 391. So very obviously could be some support here, as that was the majority of this movement. We got that bounce right here. We found that strength, built up that energy, and we got that squeeze effect out. Wouldn't surprise me to see a bounce here, or at least an attempt at a bounce, breaking through that 400 and trying to get back within this general range here. Taking you to Bitcoin, as Bitcoin's looking very healthy right now, guys. We've had that big movement up. We've chopped between this range. We've found that break of 106. Which was a stubborn level. We've broken through that descending pattern that we had here going on. And we found a very nice move up to that 123,000, that being an all-time high. And instead of getting pushed down aggressively by the sellers, as that was a very sharp movement up, we kind of formed this flag and pole like structure, just chopping around here. Sellers try to find that movement down, but buyers step in right when they have to step in, and we start using that resistance as support as we speak. So really nice price action. Looks like the buyers don't want to get pushed down here. They want to retest that 120,000 and trend to those all-time highs, guys. Bitcoin has been a monster recently after breaking out of that longer term descending bull flag range, pretty similar as to MSTR's breakout. But instead of finding retracements, we hold up within this zone. So let's try to push us under that $100,000 psychological level a couple of times, but they cannot get that movement. And we surpass through that level, destroy this resistance we had going on here, that descending light profile. And Bitcoin looks very healthy here, guys. We mentioned in all our other Bitcoin videos is that 106,000 was very stubborn here, right? Rejecting us here, getting back up, rejecting us hard, leading to that longer term descending range. Get up here, we try to get above it, cannot hold that ground. Try to get above it again, cannot hold that. Once we get above it, guys, we don't see anything holding us up. 1, 2, 3 green candles in a row. Stay above it quite nicely. Once we found that past all-time high here, we were in a clear descending range, and that green wide bar broke through it. The buyer stepped in when they had to step in, saw some tight price action, and we got led up to more all-time highs into a pennant structure, and we're still not pulling back, still looking very, very nice here. So definitely going to help MSTR. I think we do get that test of 120,000 and try to retest those all-time highs. If the bears get into control, watch that support level of 115,000 roughly, that being that support that we found on that movement down. So let's try to push us down. Buyers found that level and we got pushed right back up. So MSTR is in a crucial spot, guys. Look for that bounce of 391. It's very much diluted right now. We see that Bitcoin's looking pretty healthy. We had a nice movement up. We've chopped within a pennant. We've broken out of that pennant, and we're using that past resistance as support. We've explained that MSTR is going down very much fundamentally right now, guys. We are diluted. That doesn't mean that the stock is going to go down to the dumps. Yes, we are retracing a bit given the new shares and the dilution of the stock, but we could be finding a bottom right here, finding a nice double bottom like formation, chopping around here for a bit, continuing our way up, especially if Bitcoin continues to stay healthy, trying to find that retest of all-time highs and continue higher. I definitely don't see MSTR going down much further than we are right now. If bears do break us under that level, watch for that support of 369 as we chop between that multiple times, guys. That holding up quite nicely, that rough range 369 to 358 as support levels. But I think it's likely that we might be getting the bounce here. Now, let me know your price predictions in the comments below, guys. You think we're getting the bounce here, or are we going to be sent further down with the bears getting into control? Watch Bitcoin looks very nice right now, but we are around that all-time high area, so a pullback is always in the question. If you guys enjoyed and want to see more MSTR content, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, trade smart, and I'll see you all in the next one.